There is money in the maybe. I want you to change your criteria. From does a claimant qualify for representation to could a claimant qualify for representation? And I guarantee you, your revenue increase.
Welcome to the Intake Playbook, the podcast where we transform your law firm's intake process into a secret weapon. I'm your host, Gary Falkowitz, and I've spent more than a decade helping law firms across the country maximize their intake performance. If you want to stop leaving cases on the table, create a better client experience, and grow your revenue, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
I want to change our criteria. I want you to change your criteria. From does a claimant qualify for representation to could a claimant qualify for representation? And here's why. I believe that we're too strict, we're too tight at intake. I believe we're leaving way too much money on the table because we're only signing cases that we are certain to resolve for a fee. Now, there was one conference I recently spoke at, and there were about 300 lawyers sitting in the audience, and they were all personal injury. And I said to them, raise your hand if you've ever signed a maybe case at intake. And let me define maybe. What I mean is that maybe it had value in the future, but you weren't sure, so you decided to sign it anyway. All 300 hands. I then said, raise your hand if any of those maybe cases ever resolved for a fee in excess of $100,000. Half of the hands stayed up. Guys, there is money in the maybe. There is money in the maybe. Yeah, but Gary, if we sign more maybe cases, that means that there's going to be a likelihood that we're going to have to drop some of these retained cases because they ultimately determine that they don't have value. Yeah, and what's wrong with that? There's a great way to drop clients and still create an advocate. Remember, dropping clients does not result in negative reviews. It's the method in which you use to drop clients that could result in negative reviews. If you don't call them, you don't explain to them what you did for them, you don't explain to them why you can't assist, well, now you might get a negative review. But if you call the claimant up within 2 weeks of signing their case, and you let them know everything you did for them and the conclusions that you came to about their case, and you let them know, you remind them that they don't owe you $1 because this is a contingency fee arrangement. You know what they're going to do? They're going to say thank you. They're going to become an advocate for life. There is money in the maybe. Change your criteria from does it qualify for representation to could it qualify for representation? And I guarantee you, your revenue increase.
Thank you for listening to the Intake Playbook podcast. If this episode sparked a new idea or insight, take a moment to screenshot it and post it in the Intake Playbook group on Facebook. Share what resonated with you or what you'd like me to dive into next. Your input helps shape this podcast, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me ask you this. Is your intake process maximizing every opportunity? If not, I created the Intake Masterclass to help. Inside, you'll get access to the tools and strategies I've used to help firms transform their intake process and turn missed opportunities into measurable wins. Plus, you'll join a network of professionals all focused on growing their firms. The ROI you'll see from refining your intake will speak for itself. Visit intakeplaybook.com today and start making every lead count. Thank you again for spending your time with me on the Intake Playbook podcast. Remember, intake isn't just about systems. It's about building trust and creating connections. Keep pushing forward. And if you're looking for more resources or details from today's episode, check out the show notes at intakeplaybook.com. I'll see you there.